What's good, everybody? Welcome to a brand new special edition of El Boogie in the Bell. Today, we are joined by our very first guest, Camo. How we doing today, Camo?
Man, doing good today, man. I'm excited to be here on the show. El Boogie and the Bell. I've been watching it for a long time, and it's an honor to be here. I'll tell you what, we're about to get into some good takes today. Go over some good topics. I'm excited to get into it. It's about to be fun.
Of course, and El Boogie, of course. How we doing today?
Doing fantastic, man. Coming into a exciting week. We got obviously basketball as we're approaching the postseason, but also the start of free agency in the NFL starts on Wednesday. So it's
Let's
about
get
to
it.
get shiesty.
For sure. All right, we are gonna start with segment one. Of course, we just implemented segment one all the way from last week with L Boogie's GM takes. L Boogie, who are we the GM for, and what is our take, and what are our moves?
All right, man. After last week, the Broncos took less than 24 hours to completely dismantle my GM take. I told y'all to keep Russ. Y'all didn't keep him. That was crazy. And what's crazy is they traded Jerry Judy, like I said they would. They just didn't get the compensation for it, but whatever. But anyway, this week, L Boogie's gonna be the GM of the New York Giants. New York Giants, they're in a little bit of a weird situation. Didn't have a good year. Daniel Jones got beat up. O line is bad. Um, and everyone's like, all right, what do they do after giving Daniel Jones that big contract, 4 years, $160 million? So now everyone's thinking, oh, what do you do? How do you rebuild that franchise? Some people are saying they should draft a quarterback. Some people are thinking now they're going to sign Russell Wilson because he's cheap and maybe better than Daniel Jones. I don't think either of those are the solution. So if I am the New York Giants, what I'm doing, and it kind of pains me to say this, but let me cook. Keep Daniel Jones as the starter.
Okay.
I think, well, part of it was he just got beat up. He got sacked a bunch. He didn't finish the season. He got injured. So first, you keep him, give him another year. We saw the Giants get to the playoffs with Daniel Jones, with Brian Daboll as their head coach. Give Daniel Jones one more year as the starter. Improve the team around him because the team around him wasn't what's up. Unfortunately, you're going to lose Saquon Barkley. But as we've seen the last couple of years, you don't really need a star running back to be a successful team. You just need someone to carry between the tackles, and that could be a fifth or sixth round pick. So Saquon, you let Saquon go. Keep Daniel Jones. You use that sixth overall pick. And now, what I would do, because six, they're in a prime spot to pick a quarterback. But if they're not picking a quarterback, I think you trade that sixth pick, trade back in the first round. Like if you can trade back with a team like Minnesota at 11, um, Atlanta at 8, teams that may look to draft a quarterback, you trade back, not super far, but far enough, get some more draft compensation, and then with that later pick in the first round, you either get an offensive tackle or a wide receiver. I think you go wide receiver. Just because we got a lot of dynamic playmakers coming into this draft class. Offensive line you can bolster in free agency. They already have one good tackle, and he was injured last year, Andrew Thomas. Um, so you just need another good tackle to step in. So yeah, I say draft a wide receiver, trade that first round pick, get more draft compensation, keep Daniel Jones as the starter for one more year, and if he's good, you move forward with him.
All right, Camo, what you think about it?
It's funny enough, and then we'll get in this to our later segment. But speaking of Saquon, he is going to test the free agency, and so we'll see how that goes. And there's a lot of teams that are interested in him, namely like the Ravens, the Chargers, and I can't remember the third one. But I
Ravens
think
would be crazy.
yeah, but it's just like Derrick Henry may go there. It's just like they got options. I feel like the Ravens have so much options, but um, I like the wide receiver. I like the idea of picking up a wide receiver, but they also have. I feel like the Giants also have the opportunity to pick up like people like Calvin Ridley or like Michael Gallup because they're starting to go into free agency. Gallup's a little bit of a stretch, but like I feel like they have some more options other than the draft that they kind of want to look into. That would be my take on it.
Okay. The Giants got to blow it up. Just blow it up. I mean, they don't have a choice right now. It's like when Saquon leaves, like that's a franchise player. Is when Daniel Jones looks like how he did last season. How injured was he last season, or was it just a very? It was the season ending, correct?
Season ending. He did not make it through all 17 games. I don't know exactly what his injury was. But yeah, no, he was not able to finish the season. And even when he was playing, dude, he was getting beat up. Like there were a couple games he didn't even finish.
Yeah, the Giants fell off my hot radar fast. Well, New York fell off my radar fast, even with the Jets. So, I mean, just blow it up. I don't know. I can't even dare think about what their GM should goddamn do. But shit, that's why we got L Boogie's GM takes. So
yeah, I say you already have Daniel Jones under contract. Keep him under contract, unless you want to try to trade him, which no one will trade for him. So keep him for another year or two, and just build. The only reason why I say you kind of have to draft a wide receiver is because the free agent wide receivers, there's, Calvin Ridley's not going to come to New York and save the day.
Yeah.
So, but one of these kids out the draft, or I say kids like we're not close to the same age, but one of these guys coming out the draft, they could be franchise players. That could be your next, Justin Jefferson, and on a cheap rookie deal. So.
Alrighty, L Boogie's GM takes. That's straight out of New York. They need to do some hiring. We got.
Let's see how long. Let's see how long that one lasts. The last one didn't even make it a full day.
Yeah, the last one made it like less than 24, which is crazy. Yeah. All right, moving on to segment 2. Since we have a guest this week, of course, we're headed right into L Boogie and the Bells trivia. Only difference with this week is we will be giving our trivias to our guest. So, guest Camo, you are going to get a double whammy as far as trivias, and it looks like you're actually going to start with the Bell, which is me. So, Camo, if you are ready, we're going to play Guess the Player. And I'm going to give you a series of things that this player did, and you let me know the player. You got 5 guesses. I hope you get it.
Dang.
So this player played in the NFL. He was a 4-time Super Bowl champion, 1-time Super Bowl MVP, NFL Rookie of the Year, NFL Man of the Year, first team All-Pro a couple times, and a 9-time Pro Bowler.
Man, can I ask what teams they played for?
I won't give you a team, but we're in the NFL, so 4-time Super Bowl champions. There's only so many 4-time Super Bowl champions, and then also an MVP. After about guess 1 or 2, then I'll get you a little bit closer.
Okay.
And we're going all years of the NFL.
All right. Well, my first instinct is to say a quarterback. So, and this is all time. Yeah. I gotta go.
Only so many 4-time champions.
Yeah, I know. I gotta go.
Somebody who's won an MVP in that category. Throw him out there.
It's Peyton Manning didn't win 4, did he?
Nope.
Nah, he didn't win 4.
One more guess.
I'm gonna
Off
go
the
with
money.
somebody.
Off the money. Go ahead. Just throw it out there.
I'm gonna go ahead and just say Drew Brees.
No, he is not a running back. He's not a quarterback. He's a running back.
He's a running back.
All times of the year, and second hit is before the year 2000. It could be 1950 to the year 2000.
Oh.
4-time Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, got Rookie of the Year and Man of the Year.
Oh, was it Franco?
Franco Harris.
Uh-huh.
A relative and family member of Mr. Camo, a true legend, a really cool guy. Rest in peace, of course. A super awesome guy, but yeah. We got Franco Harris, rest in peace to the legend, Hall of Famer, and all of the above. L Boogie, give it to him.
All right, Cam, you didn't do bad on that one. I thought it was going to take you a little bit longer to get to it.
The running back comment helped me. I always think quarterback when I think of Super Bowl champions,
I was supposed to say
Right.
fullback as well because I know he was a fullback converted to running back because it was such an older style of play. But
Yeah.
shout out a legend.
That's
All
big
right,
facts.
Camo. As you know, less than a week ago, the Denver Broncos decided to release Russell Wilson and took on an historic dead cap hit totaling at $85 million over the next 2 seasons. So my question to you, Cameron, you know that's number 1. Can you name the other 4 in the top 5 of biggest dead cap hits in NFL history?
Biggest dead cap hits? Oh, this is good.
And the hint is some of them are more recent than you think. Actually, most of them are most of them are pretty relatively recent.
Is acceptable answer just the teams that had the dead cap space, or do I have to say the players as well?
If you can guess the team or the player, I'll give it to you.
Okay. I'm gonna go with my first guess. I'm actually gonna say the Jets.
Not the Jets, but kind of related, but not the Jets.
The Giants?
Oh
Not
man,
the-
stay on
not
the
the-
Jets. I'll
not
help
the
you out.
Giants.
Stay on the Jets.
Stay on the Jets.
Stay on the
on the
Jets,
Jets.
but not the Jets.
Think about dead cap. Like, you let him go free knowing you owe him a lot of money. In recent time, the Jets have...
I mean, Aaron Rodgers? No.
Aaron
no.
Rodgers.
Yes.
The Green Bay Packers took a total dead cap hit of $40.3 million when they let Aaron Rodgers go.
Oh.
Which is crazy.
Oh, what?
Jordan Love
$40.3
worked
million.
Damn.
All right, what he's doing top 3?
Top 5. They're all quarterbacks, if that helps.
Wow.
Oh.
All
they're
quarterbacks, and all of them are quarterbacks, and all of them are within the last 4 years. So think
Ooh,
so
I
think
got
Oh!
it. Yes.
think
I don't know
quarterbacks who have switched teams in the last 4 or 5 years.
My next guess would probably is Derek Carr on that list?
Not Derek Carr.
Not Derek Carr.
I think his contract expired before he went to the Saints.
Then I'm gonna go with. Let's think about who moved. Cause Kirk hasn't moved yet.
Am I wrong, or is there somebody on there twice?
No, it's the same. It's 3 different players.
3 different players. Okay.
Yeah, 2 of them are currently retired.
I know one that he's not gonna get. I just thought about it.
I probably won't get that one, but
Number 5 is probably the one you're not gonna get.
all right. I'm gonna go with. I hate to say it because I don't think he's on the list, but Jimmy G.
Not Jimmy G.
Ugh.
I mean, that was a great guess. If I could
That
guess
was a good
anybody
guess.
who wasted cash, I have another person who I'm like, you just wasted a lot of money.
You're gonna help him
Yeah.
out, Bill?
I'm about to
you
start
help him
helping. Is Brock Osweiler on there?
Nah, not that.
Oh,
Not that.
damn.
Not that.
No, that's a throw out.
He had that gorgeous check from Houston, and then he played like
Yeah.
half of a season. Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan is number 2.
Yeah.
$40.5 million when the Falcons let him go.
28. You can't.
Damn.
28 points is too much to let go in a Super Bowl.
That is crazy,
The
actually.
last 2 quarterbacks on the list both have won a Super Bowl.
So Russell Wilson's not on there twice.
No, he's just the number 1. He's just the number 1.
Because they lost a lot of money. Seattle did, or somebody lost money for him.
It would not
It would probably be Salat. Yeah.
All right, the last
Not
two
top
are.
5. They're both
Brock
quarterbacks.
Osweiler.
They're both quarterbacks. They've both won
Cameron
a
Newton.
Super Bowl. Nope,
Whoa,
not Cam
that's-
Newton. Not that
Oh,
long
that's a
ago.
good guess though.
Not that long ago. It's not a bad guess. Think
I feel.
the LeBron James equivalent.
Tom Brady had dead cap space to leave.
Is that it? Yeah.
Tom
God.
Brady. He is number 4 on the list at 30. Let me see. $35.1 million.
He wanted to get
Wow.
out of there.
That's actually
wanna
kind of
get out.
insane.
All right, and last one. Give us a team.
The team, this player, he went to a Super Bowl and he
Nick
lost
Foles.
his job.
Nick Foles.
Oh, you're so close. You're so close. You're so
Nick
close.
Foles and,
Who did
what was
Nick Foles replace? Who did Nick Foles replace?
he went to the Colts, right? What was his name?
He did.
Oh, this is about to kill me.
God.
No, it's not him because he's.
This is
I was gonna say something stupid like Gardner Minshew, but that's not at all true.
No, not even.
Guys,
Uh,
you're so close.
More than $1 million.
Nick Foles took his job and won the Super Bowl.
Carson Wentz is his name?
Carson Wentz.
Oh,
Number 5.
Carson Wentz?
Carson Wentz.
Carson
All right,
Wentz, dead cap at 33.8.
Another tough one.
I can't believe he's still playing.
He is like a backup. I think he signed a deal with the Rams to stay as their backup, I think. Don't quote me.
Alrighty, yeah. Tough one. How you feel,
tough.
Camo? How you feel after your first trivia?
I ain't gonna lie, that was a little tough. I'm just glad I got one. I'm just glad I got one, to be honest. But that was crazy.
Moving into segment number 3, we are actually letting our guest Camo take over. This is going to be his topic of the day. What do you got for us?
All right, y'all. So I got something that this popped up, the end of last week? I believe it was. The NFL is going through proposals right now to get the kickoff rule changed. And I wanted to go ahead and tell you guys what the proposed rule changes would be, how it would affect play, and see get your guys' take on what they should do. If they should keep things or change things in a certain way that maybe they didn't list. And things are still being worked out before the May 1st deadline when they have to vote on it. Or it may not be May 1st, but it's in May. Here's how this would go. The biggest thing about the NFL kickoff rule change proposal is that every team has to do a new setup. There's zones that they have to do that have to be changed. So the kicking team and the return teams would line up on the receiving team's 40 and 35 yard line. I'll take this slow because that's a lot to take in. Neither team could leave on the kickoff until the ball reaches the target zone, which is the 20-yard line to the goal line. And this is similar to kind of how the XFL does it now. Touchbacks. Teams will get the ball on the 35-yard line if the ball is kicked in the end zone or past the end zone, instead of getting it on the 25. They'll get the ball at the 20-yard line if the ball is kicked inside the target zone and rolls into the end zone, not goes past it. The other thing is onside kick attempts. Teams can attempt onside kicks only in the fourth quarter and only if they're trailing. They are not allowed to do it otherwise. And then the last thing is, if the ball does not reach the 20-yard line, if it does not go past that 20-yard line, they will get it, I believe, on the 40 or 45-yard line, somewhere around there. So the whole point of this is to eliminate the space that would normally be had by the kicking team to run down the field, gain speed, and hit players and hopefully like reduce concussions and stuff like that and injuries, because as we all know that the kickoff play is one of the most injury-ridden plays in all of NFL history. So, having said that, what are your guys' takes on those particular sets of rules? Is there anything you would change? Is there anything you would keep? Like, what are you guys' takes?
Man, I do not like that at all. I don't like it at all just because, I mean, a couple of years ago when they made the rule change to where the players can have a touchback, like anywhere within the 25, they can touch the ball down or kneel it down, whatever, and that was for like the player safety stuff. That made sense to me. Cool. This, and now you're almost essentially forcing a kick return every time they kick the ball off. Like, there's only few circumstances where there won't be a kick return. And I get they're trying to make viewers more engaged in it, but guys, like, this, you just named off like 10 different rules that are all tied to one play. That is so complicated. That is so complicated to not only for the coaches who have to coach the players and come up with schemes and stuff. That's complicated for them. The players aren't going to know what's going on. The players are not going to have. You said they can't move until the ball crosses the 20. Okay, the ball's in the air. Did it cross the 20 yet? I can't tell. Like, bro, like what? Like this it's kind of it's really silly. The offside kick thing, the reason why the offside or the onside kick works sometimes is that it's unexpected. You took away the element of surprise. Like you took it away since it's only in the fourth quarter, and since the players line up so ridiculous, like everyone knows you're going for it. So now it's even less of a surprise. I don't know. I'm not a fan of this. I hope they do not vote for it.
Okay, so my honest take is let's just give it to the XFL. So this is why there needs to be a real partnership between the B leagues and the A leagues. You can have the B leagues implement these rules and settings. Now, I'm sure that there's a little bit of data that they're using from the XFL. Maybe they paid them for a bit of data on the difference. And, like, you know, is it safer? Is it this? Is it that? Is it entertaining for the XFL fans? Let's get 5 years of data. Let's do 5 years of data before we just start implementing stuff that we see from the B leagues, you know? Let's actually have teamwork to actually see it over and over and over again. Let's have not just El Boogie and the Bell, but let's have ESPN talk about it day in and day out for 3 years before we get a rule change. So I'm assuming that it's brought up this year just so they could get it in motion for getting denied this year, next year, and then the next year, you know, it all works out because the idea of you get a chance to score, especially in playoff games, came finally after Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen's battle. It's like, okay, we've been proposing it. College football's been doing this forever. It makes for exciting, very, 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 very exciting overtimes. Let's implement it now. And then you have that big thing that happened. I haven't seen that one big thing to happen to be like, we got to do exactly what the XFL is wanting. And it sounds like there's a couple extra rules in there. Get the collaboration going. Get my man The Rock paid. You know, we want The Rock to be a successful owner of a B league to the NFL. Get that man paid. Let's get some more data behind it. Let's see if the fans actually like it. And remember, just kind of how we talked last week, these people only get so many chances to play in the National Football League. So when I think about those people running as fast as they can, there's people on football teams where they only play special teams. They specialize in kickoff to run down the field and try to get a tackle, and they play PAT. That's how they feed their families. Switching up these rules, is it going to make it more of a thing where it's like, well, it's a little bit safer and it's a little bit this and it's a little bit that? Maybe we don't have to invest so much in gunners anymore. Maybe it's not about speed as much as about somebody with good hips who could just make the tackle because it's so formatted. It's so safe. It's so friendly to the runner to not get blown up. It's so friendly to the blockers to not get blown up. Like, maybe somebody enjoys, like, you know what, all I could provide this league is running 100 miles per hour, knocking somebody over and getting a tackle at 100 miles per hour. So I think allow the lower league to generate more data, see if the fans like it more, and of course, due to player safety, actually show real statistics. And they might already have some, but show real statistics on actually is it going to help, because let's not pretend like these guys aren't wearing football helmets, shoulder pads, and they're told to hit each other as hard as they can, regardless of the play. So,
agreed. Yeah, those are all good takes, and I do agree that I don't like most of these rule changes. Some of them I do like, some of them I don't. But yeah, to Lavelle, El Boogie's point, it takes away from the surprise and the game planning in it, and it can really screw a lot of things up. And the fact that you would have to announce every time that you're going for an onside kick. You can't not tell the refs that you're not going for an onside kick, which is stupid. That's just dumb. Yeah. Well, moving on. I got one last part of the segment, and this is this is more of a fun segment that I'm going to start doing. It's called Game Time. And the name of today's game, Avoid What I Say, NFL Edition. So you guys have to avoid what I'm going to say. I'm going to go ahead and give you a prompt. For example, name me any running back in the NFL. I'm going to give you guys 10 seconds to think about it. And if your answer doesn't match mine, you don't lose a point. And
Explain that again.
All right. I'm gonna give you a prompt. Name me an NFL running back right now playing. If you're gonna get 10 seconds to think of your answer, write it down, keep it in your head, do whatever, but be honest with your answer. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds, and then once that 10 seconds is up, I have an answer also in my head, and I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna tell you. All right, my answer was Saquon Barkley. If neither of you said Saquon Barkley or wrote it down, you keep your points. You start out with 5 points.
Okay.
Yeah, and you
We're
lose.
just doing running back, or are you just gonna do all positions?
No, I'm gonna give you 5 questions, 5 prompts, and so you'll have 5 points to start out. Whoever has the most between El Boogie and the Bell wins the game.
All right, let's get it.
All right. So, first prompt for you guys. Name me any starting tight end in the NFL right now. 10 seconds on the clock.
I'm ready.
Ready to go?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
All right.
Do 5 seconds. We got 5 seconds, but go ahead.
We can do that. All right. If either of you said David Njoku, you lose a point.
Travis Kelce.
Oh.
I said Noah Fant, even though he's technically going to be a free agent, but he started for Seattle this year.
Yeah. We'll still say he started though. All right. Moving on. Both of you still got 5. Tied for first. All right. Name me an NFL wide receiver with over 1,000 plus receiving yards this year or this past season. 5 seconds on the clock.
He's gonna get me because I can only think of one person. Now you're getting good.
All right. As I said, I gave you an easy one in the first one. All right. Time's up. Mm-hmm. If either of you said Mike Evans, you lose a point. Does that mean you?
As long as Tyreek Hill had over 1,000, which I know he had, MVP candidate, we're good.
I knew Mike Evans was gonna be yours. That one was too obvious. I thought CeeDee Lamb.
Oh yeah, CeeDee Lamb was the other good one. All right, moving on. Name me a team that has 4+ Super Bowl rings in NFL history or in their franchise history. 5 seconds.
It's getting shiesty.
I know.
Yeah, that one got real for me.
Oh. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
If either of you said the Dallas Cowboys, you lose a point.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh,
49ers.
Oh, I don't even think I would have thought of 49ers, to be honest. Lavelle's got pulling up. He's pulling up some stuff. El Boogie.
Go ahead.
All right, that's a good one. All right, El Boogie in the lead still. All right, both of you. Name a team with 10+ wins from this last season.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
I got
mine.
Alrighty. If either of you said the Houston Texans, you lose a point.
Baltimore Ravens.
Oh.
Philadelphia Eagles.
Ooh. I was thinking about the Eagles too before I picked my answer.
All right. Looks like
last one.
It's looking like a tie. If we both don't get it, it's a tie.
No. If because you lost a point, Abel, so you're actually down 1. You lost a point in the second question. You said Mike Evans, right?
Hell no, I said Tyreek Hill, boy.
Oh, you said Tyreek. Oh, so you both tie. Never mind. My bad. This whole time, I thought you had agreed with me that you said Mike Evans.
Go ahead, last one.
All right, last one. Name me any quarterback with 60,000 total career passing yards.
Ooh.
Go ahead.
All right. If either of you said Phillip Rivers, you lose a point.
Shut up, Drew Brees.
That's I said Drew Brees. I was like,
You said Drew Brees?
The first thing I thought about
Yeah.
was that video where he's like, "Shut up, Drew Brees," when Marshawn Lynch went crazy. I thought that's the first thing I thought about. I was like, I know Drew Brees has a lot of yards. All right, looks like we tie. Next time, I know. So next time we're on the show, we could just do it where we like put it on our phones and then we gotta hold it up.
Yeah, we could do that.
Like if either of you guys did blank, but yeah. No, I like that game. That was pretty good. See, I like the second question because the second question was very niche. You gotta like really think like who had 1,000 yards plus, and then if everybody thinks like Tyreek Hill had 1,000 plus yards, Mike Evans had, like that's where it gets really really narrow.
Yeah.
So there was some narrow ones in there, and then there was some wide margin ones. Like Super Bowls, that was wide margin too.
Yeah. But I'm figuring like people would think like the Patriots or the Cowboys, like people, a lot of teams with like a lot of championships. So those are the two teams that come to my mind first when I think about it.
Yeah, I like that. That was a pretty dope game.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to segment number 4. It is going to be El Boogie and the Bells topics of the week. El Boogie, you gave us a little bit of your GM takes earlier this week. What topic do you got for us today?
Yeah. As I said earlier, NFL free agency or the legal tampering period kicks off on Wednesday, I think at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So teams can start signing players to contracts who are going to be free agents. So my question to you guys is, who are some of the big names hitting free agency, and where do you think they're going to go? We got a bunch of running backs hitting the market. We got a couple players who have signed deals, and we have a couple players who have been franchise tagged. But just because they got franchise tagged doesn't mean they can't get traded somewhere. But anyway, besides that, who are the big names, and where do you think they're going to get signed?
Hey, Bill, why don't you start us off?
All right, for sure. I mean, of course, with the Broncos. So did Jerry Jeudy get traded already?
He got traded.
Or does it get
He
executed
did.
on Wednesday?
It gets executed on Wednesday, but everybody knows it's going to happen. Essentially.
All right, so I'm so Broncos intensive, and then Justin Simmons, or what's his name? It's Justin, right? Justin Simmons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he hasn't like found his landing location yet.
He can't. He can't sign with a team until Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for him, I just want him to win a Super Bowl. I mean, he ain't did nothing wrong to the Denver Broncos. He ain't never that. I've been to one physical football game. One NFL game in the past like 4 years, and the one time I went, that man was everywhere over the field. Like when you feel his energy out there, he kind of reminds me of Keep to Leave. Like their actual impact to the game goes beyond every single play. I just want him to go in the best situation possible. Like I would like him on the Ravens. I don't want him on the Chiefs, but I wouldn't be mad if he made it over there. I don't know if they could afford him anyways. And if not, I want him to go to like a powerhouse in the NFC. Like I just hope he goes somewhere where he could actually like flourish at. Sorry to stay so Broncos heavy. I would love to see Russell Wilson go with Mike Tomlin. I actually want to see him in Pittsburgh. I don't think that they're going to have a bad season. I don't think they're going to be a Super Bowl team when you have the Chiefs and you have first of all, you're going to another tough division. Like AFC West, AFC North, it's like any of those teams could make the playoffs at any time. Like you got the Raiders who came through balling and dogging people out towards the end of the season, and we look at the AFC North. Like they just 3 teams in the playoffs last year?
Yes,
I don't
sir.
see why they can't have 3 teams this year. I think Mike Tomlin knows how to win games. I think Mike Tomlin knows how to work with what he has, and I think Russell Wilson can actually still play football. So I'm not saying it's a match made in heaven, but I would love to see Russell Wilson go there compared to go somewhere like, it's not possible, but like a Carolina. I don't want to see him go to a young team. I don't want to see, I just want to see Russell Wilson in like the best situation possible. Even though he didn't have the best go at my home city, I don't got nothing against him. I actually just want him to go to a team where everybody's on the same page. Like everybody's realistic about their goal, especially with only having to sign him for like $1 to $3 million, because that's like what the veteran minimum, and he's still gonna make $50 million regardless. Another one is Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, I would love to see go to Baltimore. I would also like to see Saquon go to Baltimore. I want Lamar Jackson to win a Super Bowl, if we're all being honest here. Obviously, I'm pretty clear about that. I want to see like a powerhouse running back. I mean, receiver core not as bad. Ravens got a good defense. I mean, I'm not saying they're one piece away. They're one game away. Let's be honest. They're not a piece away, but they're a game away. So people who could go there and actually be that piece, that additional piece, like Odell Beckham Jr. almost was, to get a Super Bowl out of that team, get Lamar his first ring. I want to see one of those powerhouse guys make it over there. And other than that, I'll leave it about there. That's 4 or 5 players. What you think, Camo?
Well, I heavily did my research before coming here today, so I have plenty of players that I would like to talk about. First, let's talk about who actually got deals finalized, and we already named one of them. But shout out to Mac Jones. He'll be going to the Jaguars next season. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Obviously, as a backup. The D-tackle, Chris Jones, for Kansas City, finally got his money. 5 years, $95 million, which I believe is the highest paid defensive tackle in the league. I think
it's 95 guaranteed. I think the total value is 160 million over 5 years.
Ooh, yeesh. Yeah, that's a big one.
It's huge money.
That's huge money, but good for him. And last but not least, Baker Mayfield officially signed with Tampa for, I believe, a total of $115 million over 3 years, with $50 million guaranteed. Now, do we all think Baker Mayfield is a franchise quarterback? Probably not, but he did really well. He took him to the playoffs. He took Tampa to the playoffs this year.
Real quick, L Boogie, what do you think of that? Because we were very intense on Baker Mayfield's playoff run, and I did want Baker Mayfield to win, but I didn't expect him to get that. What do you think, L Boogie?
I think it's a good situation because that 115, that's like with all the incentives and everything. But I mean, he got what I thought he was gonna get. He got a Geno Smith type deal, 3 years, somewhere between $30 and $35 million a year. That's about what I thought he was gonna get and what I thought he was worth. It's not a huge hit on your salary cap where your team is limited, but it is saying, hey Baker, you balled out. We think you can be our starter for the next couple years. Let's go make a run at something.
Shows how Baker Mayfield. I think he got what he deserved. I think they didn't overpay. I don't think they underpaid. I think that they have somebody who could perform in the playoffs. You can't ask for much more than that.
Yeah.
Especially after the GOAT. Go ahead, Cameron. You got a couple more?
Just a couple more. But I think I'll stick to 2 big ones. I'll just give some honorable mentions real quick. Bobby Wagner will be testing free agency, so leave in Seattle.
How old is he? 47?
Yeah, Bobby's old, man. Bobby is old. He's like 36.
Dang, that man's in the best shape of his life. To still want to keep doing it?
It's crazy.
And I ain't never made it nowhere.
Hey, still getting 100+ tackles a year too. Like, he's still getting after it.
Yeah, and then we got the Chargers. They're looking to trade Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. They're listening to offers for both. I don't know if I necessarily agree with both. I think I like Khalil Mack better. Joey Bosa, maybe get him off, but we'll see how that goes. But I think
Joey Bosa to San Francisco.
No. The Bosa, that would be. Yeah.
They could not afford that. They could not.
Yeah. And then the last 2 that I want to bring up are Kirk Cousins and Justin Fields. Now, here's we don't know officially what's going to happen with Justin yet. Everyone is leaning towards Justin's going to get let go. He's going to go somewhere else. They're going to try to trade him. Now, Kirk Cousins, on the other hand, he's still in contact with the Vikings, but he recently, I believe, somebody said he bought a house in Atlanta, and he's been talking with Atlanta. So there's a lot of talk going around right now that he's testing free agency, and he might go to Atlanta and replace Justin Fields. Is that the right move for Atlanta? Unless if you're gonna draft Caleb Williams, no. But if you're not gonna draft Caleb, maybe. I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that. I never thought he would land in Atlanta. And as far as Justin Fields goes, and we already talked about the Steelers being interested in Russell Wilson. They also met with Justin Fields earlier on, a couple weeks ago, I believe. So I would like to see, personally, Justin go there instead of Russ, just because Tomlin can work with a younger quarterback that actually has some decent skills. Kenny Pickett was never the answer. I never believed that Kenny Pickett was the answer. Mason Rudolph was never the answer. Mitch Trubisky got let go, thank God. So, yeah, I think those are the 2 big ones that right now So what do
I
y'all
want
think?
Justin Field to have one good season in the NFL, and I literally his Bronco game, which they literally let go like a 20-point lead and still lost. I'm like this dude's an athletic freak. Like he still could ball. It's just there's not enough pieces lining up for him. So I don't know if it's the league. I don't know if it's the situation he was in, and I don't know if it could be a system thing. I just want him to have one really really good season, and I don't know if he could go to Atlanta and make that happen. Like a Kirk Cousins could probably go to Atlanta and really make it happen because Kirk Cousins has a history of just making it happen. Justin Fields going to the Steelers could look a lot like the last three quarterbacks that you just named.
Ugh.
Just being honest, like
Mitch Trubisky?
It could look very similar to those three situations. Like,
Oh,
only because he hasn't proven that he's like gonna fix something. We know Russ has won a Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowl appearances. Like Justin Fields could have a very similar situation to those three guys that you just named. But I just want him to go to a place where he could actually flourish. And honestly, I want to say it's the Falcons, but younger team, athletic, but I mean, Kirk Cousins might do his thing down there. You feel me? He might slang them rock to them with them young fellas. So I don't know. What you think, Boogie?
With the Justin Fields thing, I mean, I get where you mean, Abel, where you're saying like it could be the same thing in Pittsburgh, because when you really think about it, so far, Justin Fields has looked very similar to Mitch Trubisky. Very similar. He doesn't complete a lot of his passes, like 60% completion rating, turns the ball over, has mobile ability. Now, Justin Fields is obviously more athletic, obviously a better runner of the football, but the stats look the same. Neither of them were able to win in Chicago. And what is Mitch Trubisky? Mitch Trubisky is a career backup. He just signed a deal to go be Josh Allen's backup. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what Justin Fields' future is. It's just a career backup. But I don't know. I think he's wherever he goes next, it's a prove it now kind of thing. If you don't prove it at your next stop, you're going to be a backup or you're going to be out the league real quick. Sending him to Atlanta made sense just because it is a younger team. But I don't know. Y'all make a good point with Kirk Cousins, because Kirk, he goes places and he's just good. Never fantastic, but he's good. Like, he does it. So with all those young weapons that they have on Atlanta, I think Kirk Cousins can make it work. I wouldn't read too much into him buying a house, because maybe he just wants to live there in the off season. Maybe he's thinking, all right, I have a house because we know my family, we want to settle down in Atlanta when I'm done playing. So I wouldn't make a big fuss about, oh, he's going to Atlanta just because of that. But seeing him in Atlanta, I would be cool with it. I wouldn't have no complaints. And then, Abel, your take on the Ravens getting a running back. I think they have to get Derrick Henry because they can't afford Saquon.
Really?
Saquon's still young enough. Saquon's still young enough to where he can command a decent contract. Derrick Henry, he's older on the back. He already had his
that running back lifespan.
Yeah, so he'll be cheaper than Saquon. So I think Derrick Henry would make more sense, but I also don't see the Baltimore Ravens getting him just because they've shown that they can run the ball effectively with, not bad, but like B or C tier running backs. They've been able to do it, so I don't think they need to go spend that money on an older running back. Now for Saquon, I would love to see Saquon go to Houston. Ooh. I think it makes sense in Houston just because they're not really paying anybody, at least not on offense. All their players are young, cheap quarterback. Give C.J. Stroud a dynamic weapon out the backfield, so he's like one read, two read, boom, ditch it off to Saquon. That could make that offense pop. I would like to see that. But yeah, and then there's one name that we haven't even mentioned yet. What do y'all think's gonna happen to Austin Eckler?
The Broncos?
Yeah.
I don't think we could afford him, but
y'all done with Austin Eckler? I'll take Austin. Hey. Well, no, we don't need a running back though. That's my thing.
No, but he's a top receiving back in the league, or he was.
I don't really know. would put him. I mean, I wish it was like a Bill Belichick era because he fits so in with that system. Like, just random dynamic, small guy, do everything. I mean, all purpose for sure. You know what's funny? I kind of fit him in with like that Christian McCaffrey. Like, I could do everything, and I'm like, I don't know how, but I'm gonna do everything. So I'm like, he would fit right in San Francisco. The only problem is they just have Christian McCaffrey. He just go to the best team, whatever the best team he could make it to. He just needs to be on a championship team. He plays championship football. Nobody's ever said he doesn't play championship football. He just hasn't been on a championship team. So I want to see him like the last 4 teams in the playoffs, AFC or NFC championship team. I want to see him go there.
Austin Eckler to the Ravens?
Yeah. Oh, that would be crazy.
Austin Eckler
that would be. Ravens? I don't know. He's a dynamic player. He's Well, you remember the little dude that Lamar had, Willie Snead? He was
a receiver though.
Yeah, but he was dynamic, and he still came out to the backfield a couple times. But he needs to go somewhere. I just want to see him on a championship team, man. I want to see like the guys who are playing the best football go on the teams, and then you can see like how much they actually affect a really, really good team. And nobody believes that Austin Eckler is not affecting a really good team. I want to see him in an NFC or AFC championship team.
All right,
Kansas City?
Not with Pacheco.
Honestly, why not? Because they're going to get rid of Edwards-Helaire. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a free agent too.
You know why.
So just fit Austin Eckler in that role.
So you might want to save Pacheco from himself. So having like that dynamic of a player and then having your bull, like that could work. But I mean, Pacheco wants to run the ball as much as he can, even if it's in harm's way. So I think Pacheco, and then all you need is another Edwards-Helaire, all you need is another Edwards-Helaire. You don't need somebody like crazy dynamic, crazy good, and actually probably going to start over Pacheco.
I think McKinnon fills that role, though, right?
I agree.
Yeah, for the cheap. I think what's going to hurt Austin Eckler is he's going to ask for too much money. I think that's what's going to end up hurting him.
And you don't want to just go to an average. Well, I don't know. I'm not the person making these millions of dollars.
It's what your priorities are.
You don't want to spend your whole career just being like, yeah, I was the best player on that team.
I don't know, because sometimes, I mean, imagine like, what's his name? Joe Thomas. Hall of Fame, left tackle for the Cleveland Browns. Didn't win anything in his career, but he made a bunch of money, played in the NFL, made it to the Hall of Fame. So I guess it all depends on what you value more than anything. What's your priority? Is it money? Is it winning? Like,
yeah, I just want him to be on a top 4 team, but honestly, he's probably gonna chase that bag. Which, hey, God bless him. We're talking millions and millions of dollars and his worth. So a lot of times you put your worth into it. So, alrighty. And that's going to wrap that up. And our last topic of the day. Let's shift over to the NBA, show the NBA some love. We're actually supposed to be focused on the NBA, but we got so many exciting things going on with the NFL. But our last focus will be the NBA. Crazy early NBA championship predictions. Camo and Boogie. Who is leading the front runner? Who are your sleepers? Who are your last 2 teams, and who is going to take it off? Take it all.
Boogie, go lead us off.
Hey, in the finals, I got it. It's going to be the San Antonio Spurs versus the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, the Pistons is crazy.
I'm just kidding. No, I think the Pistons today got...
Bad, though?
They're bad, yeah. I think the Pistons are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs now, so that's not happening. No, but for real though, okay. So my picks for who's gonna be in the finals, I'm gonna take, and this is a hard one because I kind of want to go one of 2 ways with this, but I'll just stick with my gut. So coming out of the West, I have the Denver Nuggets, and coming out of the East, this is gonna be my hot take. Coming out of the East, I got the Cleveland Cavaliers.
No.
I know. But hear me out. Then I'll start with the West. With the West, I choose the Nuggets because I think it's going to be Nuggets Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. And I think the Nuggets are going to win that series just because I don't think the Thunder have an answer for Nikola Jokic, and they're young. They're just a young team. We've seen a young Thunder team go to the Western Conference Finals before and not be able to get over the hump. I think history repeats itself. I don't really think the Timberwolves are going to come out of the West. I watched them play the Cleveland Cavaliers on Friday, so 2 days ago, and I was unimpressed. And I realized something about Anthony Edwards. He's a great player, but I don't really think he's a closer. Ooh. Like in the fourth quarter, he went 0 for 6. Ooh. He had so many opportunities to make a game-winning shot. The game went to overtime, too. So you just need one bucket out of him in the fourth quarter. He couldn't give you that. So I don't know. I don't really believe in the Timberwolves all the way. I believe in the Nuggets coming out. And then in the Eastern Conference, I know everyone's like either Celtics or Bucks probably. I like the Cavs. The reason why I like the Cavs is because they're a gritty team. They've been a good team the last couple years, and they've had the same core of players. And I think they're in win-now mode just because they know Donovan Mitchell's a free agent in the offseason, and he's probably not re-signing with the Cavs. So I think they all have the mentality like, hey, we can go compete, we can go win, why not? And I don't believe in the Celtics. They've been good every year, and it's either Tatum or Brown craps out. And then the Bucks. I mean, the Bucks are the challenge. Giannis and Dame if they're both on fire, but I don't know. Something in my heart is telling me Cleveland Cavaliers.
Just to respond to that really quick, I got more faith in the Knicks than I have in the Cavs. And wow. I don't have either of those teams going to the finals. I'm just so what in a dream world, some way somehow the Knicks fall to 5 and the Cavs fall to 4. It's just the Magic are like way behind both of them, so nobody's gonna take 3. And the Knicks aren't gonna fall to 6. So like, but a first round battle between those two, or first or second round, like that would be the best series of the Eastern Conference Finals if you ask me. Besides like something exciting like the Celtics or Bucks versus Bucks, but I want to see something like that only because they're really gonna fight each other. Like, man, we are the best number 2 team in the East, and then go get beat by somebody later. The Celtics are not winning the championship this year. But I do believe this is another year where they could go back. I still want the Bucks because it's Dame Dollar, and I want him to experience that NBA Finals, and let alone an NBA championship, which I don't have them beating my other side team. The Cavs is crazy. The Cavs is nuts. But I do like Donovan Mitchell, what he's doing over there, so I got to pay a little bit more attention to the NBA, so maybe the Cavs are a super hot fire, but I don't have enough faith to say that the way that the Bucks are constructed, even the way the Knicks are constructed, or especially the number 1 seed Celtics, who are sitting at 49-14, the closest team to them is 42-23. I don't think that the Cavaliers are going to do much to them in a second or third round if that's where they meet. Now, on the Western Conference side, the Thunder and the Timberwolves are in the same position the Nuggets were in 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years, or excuse me, about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, where they were so young that they could have even been a better team, but they didn't have more experience. And that was over your Warriors, and I'm trying to think who else they got knocked out by.
They lost to the Lakers in the bubble.
Yeah, okay, exactly.
Yeah.
That was the conference. Yep. So it's like those teams were just really, really tough to overcome on. And guess who's sitting at that position now? The Nuggets. I don't think either of those teams can do it. I could see both of these teams slipping up and giving the Nuggets the number 1 or 2 seed. Especially the Timberwolves. I do think the Nuggets finish over the Timberwolves. We're so old that we want the Clippers to make it to the finals. We want to see those guys do it. I want to see all those guys win one, or at least it'd be really dope to see the Celtics take on like the older generation of cats who all either have championships, been to championships, you know, Russ, Kawhi, PG. Like, I want to see them take on like the Celtics so they can show them the old stuff, and then the young dudes can show them the new stuff, and it's like the battle of generation. But I don't think that Clippers team is going to see the Nuggets, which I do think that Clippers team could beat the Nuggets. I just don't think they're going to see the Nuggets. And I think one of those young gun teams are going to knock them out. And I have the Nuggets going against the Milwaukee Bucks. Camo.
I was about to say all great takes, and I do agree. I also think I want to see the Nuggets and the Bucks be in the finals because I think that'll be the most exciting. But I do have two sleeper picks from each side of the conference. So start with the East. Now, Lavelle, the Cavs is crazy. Let's just get that reiterated. The Cavs is crazy, but I understand. I understand why you like them. Donovan Mitchell is just that guy, and when Evan Mobley is healthy, he's also that guy. Like it's can be a good team, and unfortunately, I think Max Strus needs to like get better at passing the rock around. He relies too heavily on his shooting; it's just too inconsistent. But over the years, I think the Cavs could eventually go again. I just don't think it'll be this year. I don't think they could make it far. Now, I do like the Knicks. I have the Knicks as a sleeper pick because right now they're very injury ridden right now. Most of their starters are injured and out for the rest of the regular season, and hopefully they'll be back for the playoffs and we'll actually get to see a healthy Knicks team if they can stay up there in the rankings, which I think they can. The other one is, and don't hate me for this, wouldn't it be fun to see Paolo Banchero and the Orlando Magic make a run? They're at fifth. They're at fifth right now. Isn't that crazy?
And y'all said the Cavs were crazy?
Wait.
Y'all said I was crazy for the Cavs? And he says the Magic?
And this is my issue with the East. Since we were children, why has the East always been so weak? We're talking about 8 games between number 1 and number 2. We're talking about 13 games between number 1 and number 5. If we go over to the West, we're between number 5 and number 1 is 5.5. Like, what is the deal with the East? Our whole lives.
My thing is,
I have no faith in the Magic.
even with that disparity, who won the East last year? It was the 8th seed Miami Heat who beat everybody that you thought was going to make the finals and just came through and swept it. So that, in my opinion, that makes the East more exciting because it really feels like any one of these teams could lose to any one of these teams. Like, yeah, you have a good record. What are you going to do in the postseason? What are you going to do in May and April and June? What are you going to do? That's why I don't believe in the Celtics. Y'all already lost to an 8th seed once. Don't let it happen again.
I don't. They're not making that. But anyways, that's getting us close to just about an hour. I would like to say thank you, Camo, for being our first guest ever on El Boogie and the Bell. Camo will be a reoccurring guest for sure, no doubt about that. Any last words for the people?
I'm about to say, y'all, man, it's a beautiful time for sports right now. We got a lot of things going on, so make sure you keep up and make sure that you are following these guys on all their socials. Make sure you tune in every week because they put out some really good content. So
appreciate that. El Boogie, you want to take us out?
Yeah, man. Appreciate all y'all for tuning in. Y'all know the drill. TikTok, YouTube, El Boogie and the Bell. Camo, appreciate you coming through. And we'll be here same time next week.
Go Magic!
All right. Peace.